And in fact, just the other day, someone asked me, what's the difference between Pragmata and Crimson Desert? And I said, in Crimson Desert, it has all this gameplay, but none of it means anything. Because there's no plot you actually like. There's no characters you actually learn to grow or love. It's essentially just play gameplay for gameplay's sake and waste all your time. In this game, there is a very interesting plot, right? And things are advancing and getting better over the course of the game. It's not just the same thing over and over, but, you know, more advancement of the platforming, of the combat, and all of that. It's getting better. So it's exactly the right level of pacing that you want, and it keeps you hooked and going to know what's going on in the story. That's the difference. And by the way, it's not going to overstay its welcome with 200 hours of gameplay. It's going to be done within 15 to 20 hours. So it's going to feel like a nice, snug, complete package that was well-paced and a good outing for a video game. That's the difference, okay? So here's the question. Out of everything I just described, all right, to me, especially 18 years in the business, doing playthroughs, covering games, this sounds to me like a great game. Okay, being honest with you, like, I really like Pragmata. So why isn't this game resonating with the audience? And what I mean by that is, the first stream did well. And then after the first stream, after that, it just fizzled out. Attendance started to dwindle. Engagement, people would come and not even talk about the game at all. And support hasn't been awful, but also hasn't been great. It's landed somewhere in the middle. So that's why I've continued to play it. It's not like, oh, this is a huge disaster game or whatever and no one likes it. There is an audience, but I'm shocked that this brand new game, by the way, sold well for Capcom for a new IP, and the fact that it didn't get tons of hype and hoopla, it actually sold pretty well. Capcom's pleased. So exactly what is going on with this game that people don't like it or aren't liking it as much? Opinions. I'd like to hear people's opinions on this. Okay, so please tag me in chat. So Amu says, maybe since it's so short, we've seen other people already get through it. Amu, that's all well and good. No one comes to Dspgaming to rush to see a game. No one. Zero. 10, 15 years ago, yes, people came to Dspgaming because I was the guy that ran to GameStop, bought the game, put it into my console, and immediately played through it in 2 days. No one comes to Dspgaming for that anymore in 2026. So that's just nonsense. Okay? People come here to see me play a game and give my honest take on it. They don't care about how quickly I beat it. Okay? So Chippewa says, I watched your first stream. I decided that the game is cool. I'm taking a break until I beat it, then I'll go back and watch it again. All right, fair enough. Some people do that, and that's why always there's an inflation of views and attention on part one of any playthrough I do, stream-wise and videos-wise. And then some people continue to watch the playthrough while others don't. And that's what I found, is that most people have not followed through and watched the other streams. They just watched the first one. Okay? Fred Grimes says, if you're not raging, it's probably too easy. I have died a few times. I'm not raging, but I have died a few times. There's been a few things that I made a misstep, like, oh, crap, and I had to retry the challenge 2 or 3 times, which is actually how the game intends. That let's say you go into a room with a bunch of enemies. Well, there might be a certain way the game intends for you to beat that group that makes it easier. And you may not figure that out immediately. Like, I went into this one room where there were 3 waves of enemies, and there's lasers on the wall. So when you enable the lasers will insta-kill everything in the room just once. So the first time I was doing this fight, I walked into the room, didn't realize that's what it was. I got overwhelmed, and then I tried to hack the lasers, and then the lasers killed me and the enemies at the same time. I'm like, I completely botched that. That was idiotic. Let me try that again. So the next time I went into the room to try second try, I said, I'm going to save the lasers for the end because I bet the final wave of enemies is the hardest. So I killed the first wave. I killed the second wave. Third wave was a ginormous monster. I dodged the lasers. The lasers killed the monster. It was like flawless win. So that's what I mean. The game, am I failing some of it? Sure. But I'm certainly not raging at it, and I'm not inept at the game. I'm doing pretty good overall. There's been a few things that have fooled me, but that's the way the game's designed. The game's not designed that you instantly beat everything the first try. They want you to have a little bit of challenge and difficulty and have to replay a few of the challenge rooms or things like that, and that's fine. But I've liked it overall. I really like the game. Okay. So the Ferb says, I think a part of it is people come for chat interaction. The last few streams have been weird. What do you mean? Of Pragmata? What has been weird about Pragmata? Daddy Big Buck says, I only tune in for games I'm interested in. I tend to gravitate towards older games. Fair enough, but that has nothing to do with this game. Like, so you're the kind of person you'll come watch me play older games. Got it. I'm a variety streamer. That doesn't explain why people aren't here for the hot new game. It doesn't. It's just your case, but that's not, in general, that's not really applicable here. Okay? Virtual Boy defeats DSP. You're not even talking about Pragmata. I'm just going to ignore you. Like, seriously, he types a paragraph. Has nothing to do with Pragmata. Oh, what you guys are talking about didn't take place during the Pragmata stream, so that also isn't applicable. Battleduck says, for me, I watched your first stream of Pragmata. I saw the mandatory companion literally piggybacking the whole time. I find it annoying. The gameplay seemed boring and uninspiring. Fair enough. To each their own. I'm not saying that every single person has to like the game, but in general, most people do. This game is doing numbers. It sold over 1 million copies in 2 days. You know, tons of people played it and like it. That's what I mean. I'm trying to figure out why it hasn't caught on. And I just don't get it. It seems like, on paper, this game is the formula for success, and it's worked with me. Like, I like it. So why on earth is it not resonating with the audience? That's what I don't understand. Okay? You can't stand Pragmata or Mouse PI. Well, I can't help you there then. Those are the new releases. I am playing other games, like I'm playing Pokemon Fire Red, which is a classic that everyone is really enjoying seeing me play. We're playing that on this very stream, indeed. And I am doing other games as well, like I tried Vampire Crawlers, right? And we're still doing Dragon Quest, and there'll be Soros on Thursday, and probably next week we'll end up probably starting a new game once we wrap up some of these. I can't help it if you just don't like any of the new games that have come out. I have to play what's out, right? That I understand. Battleduck says, would you recommend keep watching it for someone who watched the first session and you didn't stick with it? The game, in my opinion, has got progressively better. Like, the game starts out in a very generic space station-esque area. The second stage is New York City, which is really cool. The third stage, you're in, like a jungle. Okay? And now I'm in a fourth stage, which is like a mining area, and now we're running into new kinds of enemies. All along, we've been fighting different kinds of robots and other corrupted things. Now we've got new weapons, new hacking. Like, it is getting better. It totally does get better the further in that you play. It actually does have a good progression. You know what I'm saying? Like, it actually has a good advancement and progression of the game. I think what happened is some people just saw that first session. Oh, you're on a space station. This is generic. It's kind of like Dead Space. Meh. But that's really not the case, in my opinion. I actually feel like the game has been building and getting better and better over the course of the game.